Gang, what's up? Welcome back here in another edition of the Fishing Teacher, and thanks for checking out today's video. Much appreciated. Today we're going to sort of continue on our wind direction series. We're going to talk about catching bass on an east wind. Now, if you guys have, I don't know if you're new to the sport and you haven't been fishing very long, there's sort of an old wives' tale in fishing that when the fish bite out of the east, the fish bite the least. And so I want to break that myth a little bit, because right off the bat I want to say, when you have an east wind in fishing, that does not mean the fish are not biting. That's one of the, like I said, the biggest untruths in fishing that there is. So I'm going to give you guys some tips and advice on how to get around that. Now, fish, when you're talking about wind direction is often accompanied by different type of weather systems that come through. And weather systems, for the most part, they have a lot to do with, humidity levels, barometric pressure levels, the type of sky conditions you have, the light intensity, and that type of stuff. So an east wind is actually a pretty rare wind, with the exception is if you're along the eastern seaboard of the United States. If you guys fish in Florida a lot, you see a lot of east winds out there, because that's just sort of a different weather system in that part of the country. But for the most part, if you're in the average part of the United States, you're not going to see an east wind very often. But when you do, don't assume that it's going to be bad for fishing, because that really doesn't have anything to do with it. The primary thing with fishing, as far as the wind direction, it has to do, in my opinion, with the light intensity based upon the sky conditions that you have. Anytime that you're fishing in a situation where you have like a rising barometric pressure and bright skies with a lot of high light intensity, the fishing's simply going to be a little bit tougher. The fish don't roam as much, they don't chase as much, they don't feed as much. But anytime you have a situation where you have sort of a stable barometric pressure or falling pressure, and you have some level of cloud cover, that's usually pretty decent for fishing. So it doesn't really make any difference what direction the wind is out of. It's not going to play that much of a role, specifically the direction. Now, one of the things that the direction will do, as far as having an east wind, it puts wind on a bank that normally doesn't have wind on it, because for the most part, unless you have a north wind, the western and south parts of most lake are usually some of the most protected waters, because you have predominant south and west winds in most parts of the country. So an east wind can actually be a positive thing, because it can put a little bit of wind on certain banks that don't ever get wind, with the exception of that is super strong wind that muddies it up. But overall, what the main thing I want to just get to you guys today in this quick video is that don't let the fact that you got an east wind get you down, or get you having a bad attitude about the day, because it really didn't have any impact on making the fish bite or not. So anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed it. We'll talk later.